Hello everybody and welcome back to Board Game Nation. Today we're going to go through a run-through of Terra Mystica. So let's get through it. Okay, the first thing that's going to happen is each person's going to choose one of these boards. Now there's various different types of boards in the game, and each type of board or each board will have a particular faction, and that faction will have some special abilities and special traits that no other character has. So this is the Swarmlings, and their special ability is pretty much to get a lot of resources at the beginning of the game. Things are a little bit cheaper to get out. Actually, these are more expensive to get out, but you get more resources at the beginning of the game. There is various different things on this board. This is a special ability. This tells you how much river spaces you can cross or sail down. So right here, these are the rivers, and that boat symbol will indicate how far you can travel down to another destination so you can build there. And I'll explain that in a little bit. The next thing here is your shovels and how much each shovel is going to cost. You can increase or decrease the cost of each shovel by moving up like this, so that each shovel is just going to cost one guy, and a guy is basically just one cube. So right here is the cost of upgrading, and I'll explain that in a little bit. Here, this is what you will get at the beginning of the game. This is your terrain, and the terrain that you live in is this one. And every terrain that you can terraform, and the cost of each terraforming is around this circle. So how this works is, to terraform the forest into the wetlands, you would have to use one shovel. To terraform the mountains into the wetlands, you would have to use 2 shovels. And to terraform these red mountains, it would cost 3 shovels. Right? And we already know what the cost of the shovels are. This is your magic. Your magic is in these 3 bowls. At the beginning of the game, for this particular race, you're going to get 9 in the second bowl, 3 in the first bowl, and nothing in the last bowl. Now, magic can be used to do special abilities. Like on the game board, you can spend 3 magic to get a bridge, or 3 magic to get a priest. You can spend 4 magic to get 2 more workers, or 4 magic to get $7. These are very, very nice to get. The last 2 on the board are right here. This is 4 to get a shovel, and a spade you can use right away to terraform. Or 6 magic to get 2 shovels. So you can only spend magic from this bowl. So if I had 3 magic, I could spend these 3 magic, for instance, to get a priest. So right here, this is where I would get it. I would take a priest from the common supply of my color, and I would put it into my my stack of resources that I have. Okay, so the last thing on your board is this thing, which is all the buildings that you can build during the game. So there are dwellings, which are these buildings. There are trading houses, which are these. These are temples right here. This is 1 sanctuary, you only have 1 of these, and 1 stronghold. Every time you build one of these buildings, it will give you something at the start of the round. So there's going to be 5 rounds, and every 5 rounds, you're going to get resources for every symbol that has the hand opened up, like that one. So we'll get 2 guys, 2 people, and another guy, and then we'll look through the board and see what else we get. Now, as there is a particular way to build these buildings, you're going to have to build dwellings first, and then you can upgrade a dwelling into, if you look at this arrow, into a trading house. Now, the trading house costs 3 guys and $8 for this particular faction. But it can be reduced if you build beside another player's buildings. For instance, if I built here, if I had a building here, a dwelling, and I upgraded that dwelling for 3 people, I wouldn't have to spend the $8. I would only have to spend the $4 because it is an adjacent to another player. You can upgrade a trading house to a temple, and then a temple to a sanctuary. Or you can trade a trading house to an actual stronghold. And once again, the stronghold will give you an ability or something at the beginning of the round, which is going to be 4 magic. And it will also give you a special ability. Special abilities are always indicated by a hexagon, which means that you can only use them once. And finally, you have a special ability. This particular faction, every time they found a city, they will get 3 more people. Okay, so the next thing we're going to look at is the board. Okay, so here's the board. Now the board is separated into these hexagons with different terrains on them. Now we will be terraforming these terrains to become our own faction terrain so we can build on them and grow our towns. We also have at the bottom here these special actions. And these are one-time actions around, and we kind of fight over them. And we also have here up at the top 2 of the main things that we are going for. So this basically says the person with the biggest city, connected city, I'll explain that, will get 18 points. The second person will get 12. The third person will get 6. And this says that the person in each of the different temple tracks will get points if they're at the highest point on that track. So there is the different types of temples are fire, wind, earth, water, and this is wind. And so if you are high on the track, you're going to get 8. The second person is going to get 4, and the third person is going to get 2. So here's the track right here. We're all at 0 right now. But as we move up, we will move our pawns. And since the black player will move up. And the person that's highest in this track will get the 8 points. The second player will get 4 points. We've only got 2-player game here right now, so nobody would get the third place. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to seed the rounds and what we are going to get victory points for each round. So the first one is going to be this one. And this says that every time you use a shovel action, you're going to get a victory point. So if you use 2 shovel actions in a turn or use 2 shovels, you would get 4 victory points. Plus, at the end of the game, at the end of the round, if anybody that has 1 on the earth track is going to get $1. And this multiplies. So if we were up on the earth track, like this, that means that this person, or black, he would get $3 at the beginning of the next round. So that's what that means. The next one says that every time you build a trading house in this round, in round 2, oh, I didn't put out this. There we go. In round 2, you're going to get 3 victory points. So this is a good round to build all your trading houses. Plus, if you have 4 in the win track, you're going to get a shovel next round. And you do it right away. You terraform right away. If you have 8 in the win track, then you would get 2 shovels. The next one says that every time you build a dwelling, you're going to get 2 points. In this round, every time you build a dwelling, 2 points. So that's quite a bit. Every 4 in the fire, you're going to get 4 power. And how power works, I'll explain right now. When you get power, you're going to move your power up. So for instance, if it was for that this bonus at the end of the round here, let's say we had all 4, we'd get 4 magic at the beginning of the next round. So we'd move it up from the first bowl to the second bowl, from the second bowl to the third bowl. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it always starts in the first. If you can't move magic in the first, you can do it from the second. You can only spend magic in the third bowl. And there's various ways to use magic. For instance, you can always use some magic. You can use 5 magic to get a priest. And you take this priest and put it into your supply. You can spend 3 magic to get a person, or 1 magic for 1 gold. You can also spend magic. Let's say you had 3 magic here. You could spend magic, and when you spend magic, you just push them back into the first bowl again. And you can spend that magic for the special actions on the main board. For instance, this one says I can spend 3 magic when I push it down to get a bridge, or 3 magic to get another priest. We're now into round 4. Round 4 special ability is the same as the last one. Every dwelling you build, you get 2, and every 4 you are on the water track, you're going to get a priest at the next round. So you can kind of see a pattern here. Every time you see that hand, that means you're going to get it at the beginning of next round. Anytime you see an arrow like this, that means you're going to get 5 victory points. And this indicates how much you need to get one of these. Okay, so if you had 4 on the win track, you would get 2 guys at the beginning of the next round. This one states that you need to build a city. And building a city is basically you need to have a certain amount of buildings out. Once again, this is a shovel one. So building a city, I'll explain. So each building has a value. So these dwellings have a value of 1. These dwellings have a value of 2. These dwellings, or these 2 dwellings, have a value of 3. When you build a large city, and the value of that city is 7 or more, you immediately become a city or a town. And you will be able to get a key. And those keys go onto your city and you get a special ability. So let's look at those. So here we are. Here's some of the keys. So this one says immediately go up on the track of wind, earth, water, or fire, and you go up 1 on all those tracks. Plus you get 8 victory points. This one says that you get $7 and 2 guys. This one says move 1 up on your boat track right away. And that's going to be quite nice because you're going to make some victory points and stuff from doing that. Plus you'll be able to sail around. Let's look at that. So right here is your boat track. And this would allow you to move up 1. You can also spend some guys. So spend a priest and $4 to move this up. Once you move this up, you get 2 victory points. And that means you can sail between your cities. Having 1 sailboat like this allows you to sail or move on water. Okay, so here we go. We have a city right here, already terraformed, but we aren't connected to this other hex that is our color. We would have to transform this. And this would cost us 3 shovels. That's pretty expensive. But we do have a boat, which means that we can sail across water. So I could sail to here, because that's 1 away from each one of these buildings. I could sail, all over the place. But I could sail from here to here, because that's 1 hex. So I could build a building like that because of my boat. So there's many other keys here, which is, your city when you build it, that give you a whole bunch of stuff. This one gives you magic and victory points, money and victory points, and so on. The next thing I want to talk about are these special bonus tiles here. And these special bonus tiles are rewarded when you build any of these temples, 1, 2, 3, or the sanctuary. As you can see right here, this oval is indicating that you get one of these if you build any of these temples, or sanctuaries. So let's have a look at them. Okay, so here we go. So here's some of these special abilities. All the bottom ones just state you go up through on each different type of element track or priest track. And this just, you bump up your marker on that track and that's it. This says every round, and see how it has a hexagon around it? This means that every round you can spend an action to move up 1 on each of the different cult tracks. That's what it's called, the cult track. So, plus you're going to move up 2 right away on the wind. Water. Here, every round, because this is the round symbol with the hand, you're going to get 4 magic. And you're going to move up on the wind twice right away. This says that you can build a city, instead of having 7, a level of 7 for your buildings, you can do it in 6. Okay, I've already explained that. This states that you're going to get magic and a guy every round, plus you're going to move 2 up on the cult track, the Earth cult track. And there's various other ones here, money, victory points, a certain amount of victory points every round for how many trading houses you have at the end of the round. So if you have 1 trading house at the end of the round, you're going to get 2. If you have 2, you're going to get 3. If you have 3, you're going to get 3. And if you have 4, you're going to get 4. And you move up 1 on the cult track. This little symbol means that it's at the end of each round, right? That little kind of scroll. So those are all of them. There's different ones, but you're going to be able to get these permanent abilities when you build a temple or sanctuary. Okay, so resources. I like doing this. I like putting all the resources that you don't have for priests and bridges just in a pile, so nobody accidentally steals them. But these are going to be resources that you can get. So you can get priests to use, and you can get these bridges to use. You're also going to have meeples, and we've already talked about them. These are just meeples or people. And you're going to get a bunch of these every round. There's also money in the game. And that money is in various different denominations from 1 to 2 to 5. These things are going to help you block hexagons to indicate that you've done that action. So for instance, if you ever got this action, you could use this action to move up on one of the cult tracks, and you would place this like that, saying, hey, I've used it. And we've got terrain circles as well. And these are the circles that you're going to put onto the board to transform the terrain into your terrain. Little note about the cult track. You can never enter from the 9 space into the 10 space unless you have already founded a city. Once you've founded a city, you can get in here. And only one person can be here, so that means that if you get here, nobody else can surpass you, and you will get your 8 points for being at the top of the cult track for this particular track. Each round, each person is going to choose one of these tiles that gives them a bonus at the beginning of the round. And these bonuses these tiles are going to be laid out, and there's going to be a certain number of them for the amount of players. So over here we have a little chart that says in a 2-player game we're going to have 5 of them. In a 3-player game there's 6, and so on. Okay, so I've chosen my 5 tiles, or randomly chosen, for this game. So it's going to be a 2-player game. We've placed our markers on the 20 victory point section because you can go down in victory points. So the next thing we're going to talk about is what can you do on your turn? Well, there are 8 things that you can do on your turn, and this is going to be the meat of the game. So everything seems confusing right now, but this will clear it up. So the first thing you're going to do is you can terraform and then place a building. Now, when you're terraforming and placing a building for the first time, it has to be one of these dwellings, because you're obviously going to upgrade to other buildings later. The next thing you can do is, I'm going to skip these two, and I'm going to go to here. You can upgrade a dwelling to a trade house, and then you can upgrade a trade house to one of the stronghold, or a temple, and then the temple you can upgrade to a sanctuary. Okay. The next one is you can upgrade one of your boats by spending the cost to upgrade. So right here you can see that we are on 0 right now. I would have to spend a priest and $4 to move up 1, get my new boat, and get 2 victory points. Next one I want to talk about is the spade action. You're going to increase or decrease the cost of your spades. Okay, so here's our spades, and we can spend 2 guys, $5, and a priest to upgrade our spades, so they only cost 2 for each spade instead of 3. We also get 6 victory points. On a later turn, we can spend our action to do it again, so our spades only cost us 1. Remember, our spades represent how easily we can terraform other areas into our home terrain. So this terrain is forest. We can spend 1 shovel to transform it into the wetlands, and so on. The wheel goes both ways. So this dark, destroyed land will only cost 1 spade to transform it into wetlands. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the cult track. You can always spend 1 priest to go to the cult track, and there's various ways that you can spend your priest to increase on one of these cult tracks. So let's have a look. Okay, so the blue player is going to spend 1 of his priests that he got to upgrade, let's say, the water. Okay, so there's a couple of things he can do. He can sacrifice him like this, and at the bottom. And this means that we go up 1. And on the next round, this meeple will go back into the supply and we can get him. The other thing we could do is we could sacrifice him permanently. And we could place him on one of these blue dots here. So this would mean that this meeple is permanently being sacrificed. And now we can move my marker up 3. So 1, 2, 3. So we've gone up 3, which means that we're on the lead, which is good. But we've also passed one of these markers, which means that we're going to get 1 power for passing through this point. There's other ones, like as we move up, when we pass this one, we're going to get 2 power. So the blue player would get 1 power, like that, and move it up into his bowl. If these were all on this side, or in the second bowl, he would move his power into the third bowl. Okay, so the next thing that you can do is spend magic to do a special action. So blue has 4 magic in its third bowl, so he could move all these magic over and then do a special action for 4 magic. Blue is going to do this action for 4 magic, and he's going to get 7 gold. So he places this on there saying that nobody else can go there this round, and he gets his $7. The next thing you can do is do one of the special abilities. So on some faction boards, there is a special ability that you can do after you build your stronghold. If I built this stronghold, we could upgrade our dwellings into trade houses for free. And you would put one of those X's to indicate that you just took that action, like that. That's a special ability. Some of the other special abilities are on these oval permanent bonus cards. Or another one is on the round bonus. Once again, because it is a hexagon, you're going to place your X on the actual cardboard to indicate that you've done that action. The last thing that you can do is pass. Once you pass, you're going to put back your special ability, like this, to indicate that you've now passed. You'll be the first player, and you get to immediately choose one of these new ones. If you notice, I've put $1 on each of the ones that have not been chosen last round. And this will continue like that for the whole game. So I'm going to take this $7 right here. 6 plus the 7 here. This I will get right away. And this I will get at the beginning of the new round. So now my actions are complete. There's a little funny rule when building, and it states when you build beside another player, so I would build here and spend the cost to build this, blue would get power equal to how the level of power of each building. So these blue buildings are a power of 1. So that means that blue could get 1, 2 power because black built there. Now, he has to sacrifice victory points to gain this power. And the amount of victory points he has to lose is the number of power he is receiving minus 1. So he's getting 2, so that means he would lose 1 victory point. And he decides to do it, which means he goes down 1, and he gets 2 power, which would be 1, 2, if the board was like this. Okay, one last little thing about this power. You can always destroy 1 power from the second bowl, and only from the second bowl, like this, to gain 1 power into your third bowl, like that. And you can use this power for whatever you want. For instance, $1, you could spend it to get $1. But this power that you discarded, it's gone from the game permanently. It will not come back. It's going back into the box. Now, this is interesting because you can time this so that you will lose the amount of power that are rotating in these 3 bowls, but you'll speed up how fast they move around, right? For instance, you can't use any of this power, won't be transferring over into the 3rd bowl until all this power is up here. So to speed that up, you could just reduce the power. So this is a very interesting long game. So for expert players, this is something interesting to play around with. Okay, I've explained quite a bit of the basic rules, enough for us to kind of get our teeth sunk into it and play a couple of rounds. And I think that's what I'm going to do, because it's very difficult to actually understand this game without seeing it kind of played. Okay, so let's start with the blue player.